The Michigan High School Athletic Association and Pass Sports present the Boys Basketball Finals. MHSAA on Pass is presented by Farm Bureau Insurance, proud sponsor of the MHSAA Scholar Athlete Award. By True Value Hardware, promoting good sportsmanship through the Good Sports Are Winners program. And by Tombstone Pizza.
From the Breslin Student Events Center in East Lansing, the Michigan High School Athletic Association presents the Class D championship game in the 1996 boys basketball tournament between the Lakers of Maple City Glen Lake and the defenders of Wyoming Tri-unity Christian. Hi again, everyone. I'm Rick Berkey alongside for a full day of basketball action right here live on Pass. We start out with the Class DC doubleheader. First in D, Maple City Glen Lake against Wyoming Tri-unity Christian. Then immediately following that one, the second half of the twin bill, the Class C title tilt as Detroit St. Martin de Porres faces Manton. Then later on this afternoon, you won't want to miss the Class A matchup as Southfield Lathrop faces Saginaw for the Class A crown. And then we wind things up tonight at 7:30 as East Grand Rapids and Detroit Country Day face off in a repeat of last year's Class B championship contest. We start out, though, in Class D, which definitely has a west side flavor to it. Wyoming Tri-unity Christian from the Grand Rapids suburb of Wyoming getting ready to take on Maple City Glen Lake, which is from the great northwest portion of the Lower Peninsula. Those two teams are ready to do battle and ready to call the action down on the floor. The two gentlemen will be with us, Tim Stout and Greg Kelser.
All right, thanks, Rick. Good morning, everybody. Along with Greg Kelser, I'm Tim Stout. Welcome to the Class D State Championship game. This is a nice early morning breakfast with the Class D finalists this morning, Gregory. These are two teams each which have lost 3 games, and this is an interesting matchup because you got one team where a freshman was a star the other day, the other was a senior. What about Jamie Mazurek for Maple City Glen Lake? 33 points in the semifinals. What about him today?
Well, he's a tough inside player for a team that really depends on their half-court offense. And when you talk about Mazurek, number one, he's physical. He got 14 rebounds in that game and shot 21 free throws. So I think that tells you a little bit about him. He's tough, and he does not mind a little contact inside.
And then you've got the other team, of course, which is Wyoming Tri-unity Christian, which is a senior-dominated team. But the freshman Bryan Foltice the other day comes in here, closed his eyes riding the bus into the Breslin Center because he didn't want to see how big it was, had a big game, led his team to win over Detour in the semifinal.
Well, he didn't want to be intimidated by the outside of the building, and he certainly wasn't intimidated when the game started yesterday. You know, this team was 3-1, but realized they needed a point guard, so they brought Foltice up from the JV team, and he's done quite a nice job. This is a team that has depth. A lot of players play, so they will look to up-tempo. So we got a little contrast in styles going. The up-tempo of this team versus the slowdown game of Maple City.
Well, the other thing is they both had, of course, the day off yesterday to prepare. They'll be well prepared coming in. It looks like a great matchup in Class D this morning. We'll be back in a few moments. So, Rick, that's the story from the floor here at the Breslin Center.
We're looking forward to a full day of action. We'll supply the basketball, you supply the donuts. And we'll be back with the starting lineups in just a moment. One of your network sponsors is True Value Hardware. We're back at the Breslin. We're just moments away from the start of the Class D championship contest, Maple City Glen Lake and Wyoming Tri-unity Christian. We're up top here in the booth. I want to call in our special guest analyst today. Bill Brandell will be with us all day long. And Bill, you've been around high school basketball many, many years, and it doesn't matter what the teams are, what year it is, the excitement just stays constant.
Well, it does, and we've got such a great facility to have all that excitement take place in here at the Breslin Center. It's a great opportunity opportunity for young men around the state to come here and play. And, of course, the fans have just a great spot to watch these teams. And it's exciting, as was mentioned by Greg Kelser. The excitement of just coming to a facility like this adds to everything, as well as those state championships on the line.
How hard is it, Bill, for a school like Tri-Unity Christian? They've never been to the finals before. You used to coach. What do you tell the players? I'm sure that their butterflies have just been absolutely exploding in their stomach all day and the night before.
Well, I think one of the things that helps, Rick, is that they were here for a semifinal game. If this were the finals and they had never been here and they had to travel this far and see this facility for the first time, step onto a floor with thousands of people out here, I think it would be a little more intimidating. But some of the butterflies are gone since that semifinal game was over on Thursday.
You just can't beat the excitement of high school tournament basketball. We saw some great semifinal action in the last 2 days.
Oh, we have. It's been some great basketball and some teams doing some things that we didn't expect, and we expect that kind of a situation again today. You just never know what's going to happen when you get to these final games.
Well, it should be a whole lot of action, and we're looking forward to bringing it to you, so you keep that dial set right here on Pass. We'll be here all day long. Right now, why don't we send it down to the public address announcer, Eric O. Forseth.
And join us in the singing of our national anthem. Very pleased to introduce Megan Patrick, sophomore from Vermontville Maple Valley High School, to sing our national anthem.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous night o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets roared the guns bursting in air gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, sing does that star-spangled banner wave o'er the land of the
Thank you. Megan Patrick from Vermontville Maple Valley, a sophomore. Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. Michigan State University welcomes you to the Jack Breslin Student Events Center for this morning's final game in the 1996 Michigan High School Athletic Association Class D Boys Basketball Tournament. The educational value of this event is more important than its outcome. Respect for others, including opponents and officials, is one of those values. There are no excuses for taunting and trash talk. Remember, good sports are winners. And now, let's meet the starting lineups for today's game between the Lakers of Maple City Glen Lake and the defenders of Wyoming Tri-unity Christian. For Glen Lake at forward, 6'2" senior, 42 Derek Peplinski. For Tri-unity at forward, 6'3" senior, 24 John Lanser. At the other forward for Maple City Glen Lake, 6'4" senior, 44 Jamie Mazurek. For the defenders at forward, 6'1" senior, 34, Ben Chamberlain. For Glen Lake at center, 6'3" senior, 54, Robb Semple. For Tri-unity at center, 6'4" senior, 25, Derek Burgess. For Glen Lake at guard, 6-foot sophomore, 24, Eric Everson. At guard for Tri-unity, 5'11" freshman, number 11, Bryan Foltice. The other guard for Glen Lake, 6'3" senior, 40, Tim Zulman. And for Tri-unity at guard, 6-foot senior, number 30, Joshua Holmes. Head coach of the Lakers, Don Miller. Head coach of the defenders, Mark Keener. Your officials for today's game, referee is Randy Johnson. The umpires, Charles Wozniak, Eugene Fisher, the alternate, Richard Callahar.
Tim Stout with Greg Kelser at the Breslin Center. Nice to have you with us on this nice spring morning. Gregory, this is a culmination of a long season for high school basketball players, but you don't get worn out when you're playing for the state championship.
You know, 10 o'clock in the morning, an unusual time for a basketball game, but I don't think these players even realize it. This is a dream. This is an opportunity. And it's something I never experienced as a basketball player, an opportunity to win a state championship at any level.
Here you look at the starters, and here for all the great basketball accomplishments and achievements you had above the level in college and professional ranks, the memories of a high school title. Not for you, but for those kids we just saw on a screen. 5 of them are going to have a title, and all of them are going to take home a trophy today. Good to have you with us wherever you are on pass across the state of Michigan as we get underway with the first of 4 championship games. You see your officials, Randy Johnson, Charles Wozniak, and Eugene Pfizer. You know what, Greg? I think the 3 official setup has worked very well in this high school tournament since they've gone to 3.
Well, I've always liked 3 officials. It takes some of the pressure off just 2. As you can see, a lot of off-the-ball action. Starting out this game, Glen Lake, zone defense, rebounding the ball very well.
All right, Tri-unity Christian is in white. Maple City Glen Lake here in the dark uniforms, the black uniforms. These kids played in their semifinals on Thursday. Both teams playing extremely well. Glen Lake knocked out the defending Class D champions in Detroit Holy Redeemer, and Tri-unity Christian had a very impressive win over Detour, 54-27. There's our first foul of the game. That'll send Glen Lake to the line. That one goes against Tri-unity Christian. Inside number 24 is John Lanser, one of the fine players on his team, a 6'3" senior.
Yeah, Lanser averaging 15 points a game, so he's got to avoid foul trouble. Certainly don't want to pick those kind up fouling the jump shooter who's shooting a fadeaway jump shot.
Jamie Mazurek on the line, a 6'4" senior. What a game here he had the other night. 33 points and 14 rebounds. He's a member of the football team. He's an end. Hasn't declared a college yet, but I guess some are looking at him. And it's 1-0. Maple City Glen Lake is in the lead.
And of course, Mazurek, very accustomed to shooting the free throws. We mentioned his 21 free throw attempts in this game on Thursday. He gets to the line and converts when he gets there. Hit 18 of those 21 shots.
Tri-unity Christian working against the press now and into the forecourt. That one from outside. The 3 is up and good by John Lanser, and Tri-unity Christian with a 3-2 lead.
That's why Lanser's going to have to stay on the floor. He can provide that outside shot for Tri-unity Christian. He needs to stay out on the floor and not be in foul trouble. That was a superb spot-up jump shot from about 20 feet.
So both these teams have had a look at the Breslin Center. Now good crowd in here this morning, 8,000 or 9,000 fans. Another whistle inside, and that's a turnover. It'll go back the other way to Tri-unity Christian.
Well, right away, I think you can see the inside strength of Maple City Glen Lake. They're getting repeated second chances, hitting that offensive glass very hard.
So the defenders, as they are known, coming in with just 3 losses on the season, with an early 3-2 lead just underway, 6:34 to go in the first quarter here from the Breslin Center in Class D. Good putback up and in once again by John Lanser, who has all 5 of his team's points.
Lanser's got 5 shots already, 5 shot attempts. He's not bashful. You know, a lot of times players have to get up and down a little bit, get the cobwebs out, get the nervousness out of their system, but not Lanser. He looks fully ready to play.
Drive to the basket is turned away against Jamie Mazurek that time, and then it's turned right back the other way. So the play has been fast and furious, as you might expect. Here in the early going of the first game, I think there are 3 turnovers right there within about 15 seconds.
Ooh.
And now make it number 4.
You know, both teams are out of control right now, and it probably should come as no surprise. It's early. You know, there's still a lot of jitters going on here. I'm assuming that eventually they'll settle down and play their normal games, but right now it is very sloppy.
All right, now the defenders drive, whistle. That's a double dribble, another turnover. 5 turnovers there in that last sequence, and it takes a little bit of a shaking out process as well for any team at a level of high school play like this.
Well, Foltice right there, so much goes through him in terms of offensive success. He's got to really settle himself down and handle the ball a little more carefully. He's been a little shaky with it thus far.
Only a 9th grader, number 11 in the white uniform, and he has the rebound right here. Played 4 games with the junior varsity, was brought up, and it's really been quite a story which has been reported around the state of Michigan in the newspapers because he was the big star leading his team to a semifinal win. Bryan Foltice, he said he gets nervous. I would if I was a 9th grader too.
I guarantee you there's some seniors out there nervous as well.
That rebound is now pulled down by Jamie Mazurek, who's had quite a start. And while he can't gain control, Maple City Glen Lake will get the ball back. 5 minutes, 6 seconds to play here in the first quarter. Good to have you with us this morning. A beautiful day in East Lansing. It's quite a busy day on campus with the NCAA Hockey Regional also being played here this weekend. So there are a lot of people on the campus of Michigan State University. This is Greg Aylesworth, the big 6'5" center who started quite a bit of the season. But Gregory, they said when he went out and they had another guy go in and replace him, the chemistry was good, so they didn't change him back. And so Aylesworth is now into the game. When you can bring a 6'5" center in there with experience as your 6th man, that's pretty good. Shooting has been a struggle here, as you can see here in the early going. In fact, for Tri-Unity Christian, they're just 2 out of 8 in the early going for 25%. Good look at Don Miller in his 23rd year as the head coach at Maple City Glen Lake. These teams like to play high-scoring games, and against Detour the other night, Tri-Unity Christian finally won 54-27, but it was a struggle. I think we got more turnovers than points early on. Ooh, and finally falls up and in again by John Lanser, who has all 7.
You know, he is very athletic. That ball was heading for out of bounds, but he managed to catch it, find himself on the floor, and still get a layup to drop. Lanser's quite a nice player.
Now Maple City Glen Lake trying to find its first field goal of the morning. We've played nearly 4 minutes. 7-2. Wyoming Tri-Unity Christian. 2 big crowds from each school here today. This is the farthest Tri-Unity Christian has ever gone in the tournament. It's a young school. And on the turnover, this is the freshman, Bryan Foltice, and he loses it out of bounds, but his team gets it back.
You know, right now, Maple City Glen Lake not taking advantage of the size that they have inside and having a lot of problems finding a passing avenue to get it inside. Here's good hustle on the part of Mazurek to get back and knock it away from Foltice.
Now Tri-City trying to go up by 7. A lot of poise. Imagine that this kid's got 3 more years of high school basketball left. Here's the 3 from outside, and that one's up and down by John Lanser. Man, what a start he has had. All 10 of Tri-Unity Christian's points from John Lanser.
Well, let me say this. I give Tri-Unity Christian a lot of credit because they realize they've got a hot man on the floor, a confident man outside on the floor, and they're getting him the basketball.
Maple City Glen Lake still looking for its first field goal here this morning after a marvelous season.
They got to spring Mazurek inside, get him the basketball in the post where all he has to do is catch, turn, and shoot. He hasn't seen the rock much inside.
The Lakers were the runners-up in their conference with a 12-2 league record. They finished behind Manton. Manton's in the Class C final right after this game. So they lost to quality teams. They only had 3 losses. Tri-Unity Christian will retain possession here into the ball game now for Maple City Glen Lake. At the whistle here is Corey Flaska. When we return, there's time out on the floor with 2:52 to play in the first quarter. It's Wyoming Tri-Unity Christian 10, Maple City Glen Lake 2. One of your sponsors today is Farm Bureau Insurance. Tim Stout with Greg Kelser welcoming you back. See the guy in the pinstripe shirt right there on the Tri-Unity bench? That's Tim Hackney, who's the second assistant coach at Tri-Unity. He played at Maple City Glen Lake on the 1976 team, made 2 free throws in the regional final, got Don Miller's team into the semifinals that year, and now here he is an assistant at Wyoming Tri-Unity Christian.
Hey, man, you have to follow opportunity.
Just one of the little stories. You had a good look there at John Lanser, Gregory, who's off to a great start. They can just tell him to keep shooting. The Wyoming team is 4 out of 10 from the field. Glen Lake is 0 for 4. And now they're 4 out of 11. But that one was got an unkind roll there. That should have fell in.
Yeah, that was a nice move by Ben Chamberlain, who averages 15 points a game, gets 10 rebounds. He caught it, went right to the basket with strength. Just did not get the roll.
Chamberlain's been bothered by a sprained ankle, which has limited his playing time, but he looks pretty agile on it here this morning so far.
He's bulky, so he can get inside. He didn't mind contact. Look at it.
Here's the shot from outside again, which is up that time. No good by Lanser, and it's pulled down by Glen Lake. They got to get something in their half-court game that'll work. And that isn't it right there. That one falls away from Tim Zolman.
Every shot, even the layups, are tough shots right now for Glen Lake.
That 3 falls off, and it's pulled down and then out of bounds, however, by Jamie Mazurek. He says, I'm getting pushed a little bit. Help me out, will you? We can't score. And there's a good look at Mark Keeler in his 9th season as the head coach at Wyoming Tri-Unity Christian. His team is on a 17-game winning streak coming in today.
And now you see the depth that Tri-Unity Christian has. They substitute 3 players, 3 fresh bodies out on the floor. As we said, Mark Keeler wants to keep it up-tempo. Fatigue could be a factor for Glen Lake later on.
Boy, wide open from the 3 in the corner. He just into the game. Senior Andy Straub. That's the 3rd three-pointer for Tri-Unity here in the first quarter.
Well, you know, he was unguarded. And the first thing you have to do when subs come into the game, especially multiple subs, you've got to recognize them and then match up. Know who you're guarding.
Well, the big guy finally gets free inside. Greg Aylesworth, the senior. So with 1:50 to play in the first quarter, the first field goal for the Lakers.
Aylesworth was strong with the basketball. Look, here again, unguarded. That's number 12, Dykstra, Matt Dykstra. These guys must be contested when they're standing out there on that three-point line.
4 3-pointers in the first quarter for the defenders. 16-4, the biggest lead for Wyoming Tri-Unity Christian. Here's a 3 the other way, and that one just won't go for Jamie Mazurek, and it's pulled down by Ben Chamberlain.
Well, Mazurek can shoot that outside shot.
Bryan Foltice throws in a 3.
And so can the little lefty Foltice. I was about to say that Mazurek, he can shoot that outside shot. But I don't think that they can win if he's not inside today. He's got to have balance. He's got to have a presence inside.
Here's little Matt Dykstra, only a 10th grader, trying to... Shot outside finally is up and in by Mazurek. And that makes him 5 points for him, and it's 19-7. So at least Glen Lake has been able to get a couple of buckets here in the last minute and a half. Here's the 3 from outside again by Tri-Unity's Andy Straub, who hit one just a moment ago. And Mazurek pulls it down. He's going to fire for 3. That one looks off left, and it was off the bracket. It's hustled down and pulled down by Matt Dykstra.
Well, right now, so much is on the shoulders of Mazurek. He's shooting, he's rebounding, he's using a lot of energy. And I got to figure that at some point, they're going to have to get him out and get him a rest if he's going to be worth anything near the end.
That Jones for 2 from Matt Dykstra off the bench, and that comes at the buzzer, and what a first quarter it was for the defenders of Wyoming Tri-unity Christian. Glen Lake is looking for answers. 22-7. Tri-unity Christian with a 15-point lead over Maple City Glen Lake after 1 quarter. We'll be back in a moment. This is the MHSAA on Pass.
Back at the Breslin, you see Tri-unity Christian on top by a dozen. Rick Berkey up at the top, along with special guest analyst Bill Brandell. Bill, Tri-unity's the school that hasn't been here before. Aren't they supposed to be the ones that are nervous?
Well, you've hit it right on the head, Rick. They came out here with a lot of cool, a lot of calm, and they have been extremely potent. 6 threes already, and that's just a sample of a lot of the other great things they've been doing. They've controlled every phase of the game in this first quarter. Maple City Glen Lake's just going to have to get themselves together, get their composure back.
But as long as Maple City Glen Lake has Jamie Mazurek, you know that they can turn things around after a tremendous performance in the semifinals by Mazurek.
Well, Jamie Mazurek had a great semifinal game, and he's a guy that will come through before this one's over. He bangs the boards, he steals the ball, he scores, he dives on the floor. He does it all. He does everything but sweep the gym here. So you're right. I'm sure that Maple City Glen Lake will count on him, and he's got his work cut out for him now as the Lakers have dug themselves a hole.
It's the defenders by a dozen back to the floor, and Tim and Greg.
You know, Greg, it an amazing 6 3-point field goals for Tri-unity Christian in the first quarter.
Well, you know, we talked about the teams settling down and getting into their normal flow. Well, Tri-unity Christian did that, and they did it hurriedly, and they look very confident. I mean, this is just a normal basketball game for them now. I don't think that they're thinking, hey, state championship on the line.
Now we'll see how Maple City Glen Lake reacts, and they've had a struggle here right out of the chute here to begin the second quarter. So it's been all Tri-unity Christian going for its first state title here.
See, at some points you want to forget the stakes, because that allows you to play comfortably, confidently.
Whistle, that ball is tapped out of bounds. Well, today is prep day in Michigan on Pass Sports with 6 championships on deck. We've got 3 more boys basketball title games to be decided today. We'll present the finals in 2 classes in the Lower Peninsula Girls Volleyball Tournament. The Class C title game immediately follows this one. Then at 2:30, it's volleyball action in Class C. Hanover Horton against Montague. At 4, we'll bring you the Class A hoop finale. As you watch the play here, followed by the Class B Lower Peninsula Girls Volleyball title between Comstock and Charlotte. We'll finish it up at 7:30 with a Class B title game, all exclusively here on Pass Sports. We've got a whistle and a foul called. That's Matt Dykstra who picks it up, his first second team foul. Glen Lake went the entire first quarter without a foul call. Okay, so it's 22-7. Wyoming Tri-unity Christian with a 17-game winning streak on the line in the lead. That one's Jamie Mazurek. He has 7 points now, so he's starting to get on track after having 33 in the semifinals.
Well, he has to stay active. He has to keep making himself available, Mazurek. Obviously, if he can get some confidence going, get some consistency going, it'll help his team in terms of settling them down. Right now, I think they're going to have to take the lead from him. He's a very confident player out on the floor.
Geez, and he made a nice move there and then didn't finish it off when he got to the basket.
But at some point, someone is going to have to help him. Mazurek is not going to be able to beat this Tri-unity Christian team by himself.
Glen Lake came in today with an 11-game winning streak. Okay, and they're now down here by 13 points, 15 down at the quarter. Shot inside is up and in by Robb Semple. His first 2, and now it's 22-11.
Semple got that ball underneath the basket and then was able to use his bulk and strength to create space to get it up off the glass.
You know, you look at this number 11, the freshman Bryan Foltice. He can handle the ball with both hands very well. You know, he's already established that he's a good right-hand, left-hand dribbler. And, of course, to have the kind of game he did here the other night with 15 points in the semifinals and to lead his team to a win.
Boy, imagine how the JV team must have felt when they lost him.
Well, they went 20-0.
Hey, good riddance.
So they said, don't worry, we can replace you, and they did. It was the varsity that needed him after 4 games of the season, and, of course, he's gone on to a big year.
Oh, nice move. Nice post move in there by Ben Chamberlain. You know, you got the inside attack of several guys because they've got 3 or 4 people who have already knocked down long shots. But when there's space inside, you can get it to Ben Chamberlain, and you can feel very confident that he can make things happen for you.
Tim Zolman gets the foul, his first team foul on Glen Lake, so no one is near the 1-and-1 yet here on what has been a pretty physical game so far. Glen Lake looks to me, Gregory, like they've adjusted and settled down a little bit here now. Now the question is, were they too far down, and can Tri-Unity Christian keep up the momentum it has had?
Yeah, no, they're not too far down. I mean, a 15-point lead in the first quarter is nothing. You obviously got plenty of time to get yourself under control and whittle away at that lead.
And, of course, they had a big run in the second half to rally and come back against Detroit Holy Redeemer and knock them out of the tournament. And they were down in that game. So this is not new territory for the Lakers.
Of course, the thing they must do a better job of is matching up. Now, you notice they come out of that zone because in that zone, they were not putting pressure on the basketball. Therefore, Tri-Unity Christian they were getting plenty of open shots. Not so many open shots available here in this second quarter.
5:40 to go before the half. Their little setup, they call that a three. That went short, but the rebound is put back twice and then a foul call.
You know, you look at Chamberlain, I mean, that ball is hanging in the air, and he's the only one that went after it with any amount of assertion there. Everybody else was just standing, and Chamberlain says, no, I'll take it, I'll move, and I'll work hard to get it. And as a result, he's rewarded.
Jamie Mazurek gets the foul. That's his second team foul. And on the line now is Ben Chamberlain, the 6'1 senior. You get a good look at the Tri-Unity Christian bench. He was on the line, but he's not going to shoot free throws. They call that a common foul, no shooting. And so now with a turnover, Maple City Glen Lake will get it back. So now the Lakers have a chance to get this down to single digits here after trailing 22-7 at the quarter. And the Glen Lake fans respond in kind. They know their team has settled down a little bit here. Here's the three from way outside. That one's poured up and in by Eric Everson, the sophomore, and that's the first three today for Glen Lake.
Everson averages 8 points a game. He came off that screen like he wanted the basketball, and when he caught it, there was very little hesitation. He got the shot up. And yeah, momentum has definitely changed uniforms for the time being.
And Mark Keeler wants a timeout as Ben Chamberlain has a charge. Third team foul on Wyoming Tri-unity Christian. It's 22-14. They've gone 2:45 without scoring in the second quarter. One of your sponsors this morning on this championship Class D game is Tombstone Pizza. Tim Style with Greg Kelser. All right, Greg, show us, give us a little education here.
All right, you got Everson right here, and he's going to come off of a screen set right here. Notice how he comes off, ready to shoot the basketball. Catches it, no hesitation.
Just the way the play was designed. You can make it. And while you were away there, a little turnover. Here's Tri-Unity Christian with the ball back, okay? Here's Foltice outside for three, and the freshman Bryan Foltice hits his second three of the game. First points for the defenders in the second quarter.
To snap that 7-0 Glen Lake run. Now, the problem there, Foltice walks up to the three-point line and then launches the shot. I think you got to pick him up just a little bit earlier out on the floor and not give him that look.
Here's another three-pointer. This has turned into a perimeter shooting game completely. Derek Kaplinski missed it, and the putback is up and in.
Hey, what, Semple, he's pretty strong in there. Now, that's twice he's caught the ball standing almost out of bounds underneath the backboard and still is able to muscle his way out to get enough of an opening to get a layup.
4 points for Robb Semple on that putback. There's Foltice. I tell you, this kid hasn't left a beat. He's got 8 points.
He's calmed down. I mean, he's not the shaky ball handler we saw first 3 minutes of the game. He's not playing like a freshman now, and he can go off the dribble and create his own shot as he just demonstrated.
4 minutes, 7 seconds left in the second quarter. Stay with us at halftime. We'll have special features and highlights on this big day of high school sports on Pass. For three, that one's up and in by Tim Zolman, the senior. His first three. Glen Lake's having a much bigger second quarter.
Well, they're going to get back in it, and they are pretty much back in it. But if they're going to pull closer, they're going to have to do it on the defensive end with some pressure, and just like that, to get the turnover and cut down on the open looks at the basket. You might want to call them open stairs because Tri-Union Christians had unusual time to size it up.
Okay, there's the Tri-unity Christian bench, and you got to look at the rest that Ben Chamberlain's going to get now on that tender ankle. He'll sit next to Mark Keeler, the coach. Here's another three flying from outside, nothing but the bottom of the net for sophomore Eric Everson. His second three three-pointers now in the second quarter for Glen Lake.
He shot that a good 3 feet behind the three-point line. That would have been a three-pointer at the NBA level right there.
Nice rotation on the ball, hit nothing but the center cut, as they like to say, and a whistle and a foul. They'll call a block here. And that's against Robb Semple, his first. There usually are a lot of turnovers at games of this speed and pace in the high schools, but the shooting's been pretty good, and there haven't been many fouls. Only 3 on the Lakers and 3 on the defenders, okay? So now Tri-unity Christian to inbound it here, 3:17 to go in the second quarter. Tri-unity has led all the way. Here's Foltice, little fall-away shot. And there now the fouls will start to pick up just a bit.
Did you see the little 5'11"? And I wonder if he's really 5'11". But did you see Foltice post up that time? That's showing that he can do a little bit of everything.
Foltice gets the foul. That's his first fourth-team foul. And so now Glen Lake just 5 down. They were in big trouble at 22-7. The deficit after one quarter. Big second quarter here. Here's the three from downtown. That one falls away. That time not quite enough arm on it for John Lanser. Tri-unity's going to try the three the other way. That one pounds off. The three-point shot has changed the game of basketball at every level, not just at the pros and the colleges.
I remember when the three-point line first came into being, both in the NBA, college, and also high school. It was usually saved for an end-of-the-game desperation situation to try and get into a tie. But now it is a big part of every team's attack.
Hey, I'd shoot it. I'd want to stand out there and fire, and it's fun for the fans. And no lead is safe, no deficit is hopeless. A good double team here. That foul is on Tim Zolman, his second personal foul now. 27-22, Tri-unity Christian from Wyoming with a big crowd here today, several thousand fans. Foltice almost got one, then dumps it inside. Nice little pass, whistle, foul, and the basket will count. He gets an assist too. He's had a big part in this game today. That one is up and in by Ben Chamberlain.
Well, that's a floor leader for you. Got the penetration, gets up in the air, looks to shoot, but then drops it off down low to Chamberlain, who makes himself available and makes a good catch.
So here's Chamberlain on the line now for Wyoming Tri-unity Christian.
This is the leading scorer on this team and also their leading rebounder.
Those were his first 2 points. And the rebound comes back. The putback is no, but it's going to be Tri-unity Christian defending well, and the defenders will have it back. Here's Chamberlain again, draws the foul. Now, was he fouled before the shot, or are they going to give him the basket? No basket.
Oh, he would have to get major continuation to get that basket. Good pump fake, though, Chamberlain. Get his defender up in the air.
Tim Zolman quickly now with 3 fouls, so he'll have to sit down here. So Glen Lake's starting to pile up some fouls now. That's 6. And we get all kinds of substitutions now on the floor. Corey Flaska, number 12's in the game. There's Zolman. His cousin played on the 1981 team that made it to the semifinals. Okay, so he's got some family history here. His uncle was a starting point guard on the 81 semifinal team. That cousin is... Chamberlain follows. Nobody stops him. Then it's missed and it's tipped up and in. Good play by John Lanser, who gets the putback and scores his first 2 in the second quarter, makes it 31-22. And Bryan Foltice on the rebound for the defenders, and down they go. Now their lead is back up to 9. It was cut to 5. Foltice shot blocked away that time, but he runs down and catches up with a pass the other end of the floor. 31-22, down to a minute and a half to play here in the second quarter.
Well, Glen Lake, one of the things I'm sure they'll talk about at halftime is, guys, value the ball a little bit more. We're just throwing it away, and it's killing their comeback effort, because here now Tri-unity Christian's taking advantage of all of these turnovers.
Foltice with a nice pass to Chamberlain for the bucket. And Chamberlain with 4 now inside. That shot should have fallen in for Robb Semple, but curled away. And with a minute to go, Tri-unity Christian, as Gregory just said there, lead was at 5, now it's 11. So they've managed to hang in there. This Foltice can play.
He sure can.
I mean, he can flat out play, and he's got 10 points.
You know, so much of what you do as a team depends on your backcourt. You can have as good a front line as you want, but if you have no floor leadership in that backcourt, you can forget it. And it has to be particularly pleasing for Tri-unity to know that this Foltice kid is going to be around for a few years. Hey, can't go hardship, can't go to college early. He's got to stay the entire time. And they're loving it.
And just that fast, Jamie Mazurek comes back. Did they give him 3? Yeah, that's a 3. They gave Mazurek a 3. Then he's fouled by Lanser, his second. So now Mazurek gets on the line. He has 10 points. He can make it 11, and this can cut it to single digits.
Yeah, I think that replay clearly showed that he was behind the line, got fouled, and there's your rare 4-point opportunity completed, and that pulls Maple City Glen Lake back to within 9. Single-digit deficit.
Jamie Mazurek has 11 of his team's 26 points, and so it looks as if Tri-unity Christian will go for the last shot. You know what? This Bryan Foltice here with the ball right now. If he can bulk up a little bit over his high school career, he'll be a real force beyond what he already is.
You're right. You're right. He's got plenty of time to develop, get better, and like you said, hopefully get stronger. Look at this.
No problem.
Put on a show, young fella.
13 points in the first half for the freshman Bryan Foltice, who is the story of the day so far. We talked about him in the opening. He has found a home in the Breslin Center these 3 days in East Lansing. We've come to the end of the first half of the first of 4 big games in the Class D state championship so far this morning. It's Wyoming Tri-unity Christian 38, Maple City Glen Lake 26. This is the MHSAA on Pass.
The MHSAA on Pass is presented by Farm Bureau Insurance, proud sponsor of the MHSAA Scholar Athlete Award. By True Value Hardware, promoting good sportsmanship through the Good Sports Are Winners program. And by Tombstone Pizza.
At halftime of our Class D championship game, Wyoming Tri-unity Christian on top by 12 over Glen Lake from Maple City. Back up top again at the Breslin. Don't forget, you're only halfway through our daytime doubleheader, and we've still got 2 more games after that. Immediately following this Class D championship game, you'll see the Class C title tilt between Detroit, St. Martin, DePorres, and Manton. A little bit later on at the half, we're going to look back to December when the girls' basketball finals were held at the Kellogg Arena, and I know you'll enjoy the highlights from there. By the way, this is the 10th anniversary of one of the most memorable shots, maybe the most memorable shot in Michigan High School Athletic Association boys basketball history. 1986, the date. Chris Coles of Saginaw Buena Vista hit a shot from about 60 feet. That was an incredible shot that people who saw it live here on television or saw it at the arena will never, ever forget. 10 years ago, 1986, and Chris Coles in Saginaw Buena Vista. But we've still got more to come. We mentioned the girls' basketball and a close in-depth look, plus stats and more, so you keep it right here. You are watching the MHSAA on Pass. You see Tri-unity on top of Glen Lake by 12 halftime of the Class D championship contest, and certainly a thrill for all the players, coaches, and fans to be here. But don't forget, also just as big an honor for the officials to be here, and the officials are honored just as well for making it to the championship finals. And don't forget also, there is a need for officials at all levels of sports across the state, boys and girls. If you're interested in giving some time and being a big part of some exciting action, please contact the MHSAA or your local athletic director. Pick up a whistle. It's a great job and a lot of fun. We mentioned the girls' basketball finals held back in December. Why don't we flash back right now to the Kellogg Arena in Battle Creek and see what happened as the girls' basketball finals were held.
The 1995 Class D Girls Basketball State Final paired the Shamrocks of Portland St. Patrick against the Trojans of Crystal Falls Forest Park. Portland's Christy Smith set the pace, sinking a 3-pointer to open the day's scoring. A few minutes later, freshman Nikki Williams brought Crystal Falls to within 6 with a triple of her own. Late in the second quarter, Nicole Mosser took a pass down low from Christy Smith and laid it in to put the Shamrocks up by 10. A minute later, Jackie Stewart picked off a pass and ran the length of the court, laying it in and cutting the Shamrocks' halftime lead to 8. Early in the fourth, Julie Hautala sank the Trojans' 7th triple of the game to bring Crystal Falls back to within 8 and tied the state championship three-point record. The Trojans would go on to break the record with 10 three-pointers, but it wasn't enough to stop the Shamrocks from gaining their second straight Class D state championship. In the Class C final, the Lansing Catholic Central Cougars squared off against the Spartans of Redford Bishop Borges. Down by 1 with seconds left in the first quarter, Lysandra White sank a 3 to give Bishop Borges the lead by 2 after 1. Early in the second quarter, the Cougars' Crystal Roca sank a free throw line jumper to even things back up at 15. But the Spartans ended the second quarter like they did in the first, with another 3 by Lysandra White to put them back up by 1 at the half. Late in the fourth, after falling down by 10, Borges came back and extended their lead to 5 with a steal and then a layup by Candace Finley. But the Cougars roared back and tied the game on a free throw by Havila Cunningham. Catholic Central pulled ahead for good on the next free throw and held on to win the 1995 Class C Girls Basketball State Final. In the Class B final, it was the Yellow Jackets of Detroit Country Day versus the Grand Rapids West Catholic Falcons. Early in the first quarter, Carrie Dugan hit a three-pointer from the corner to put the Yellow Jackets up by 5. Late in the second quarter, Abby Magellan took a long pass down low from Carrie Royce to score and cut the Yellow Jackets' lead to 9. Midway through the third period, leading by only 2, Sue Webster took a pass from a driving Katie Kerr and sank a layup to stretch Country Day's lead to 4. Closing seconds of the third, Katie Clifford corralled a high pass, turned and laid it in to bring the Falcons to within 6. Late in the fourth, Sue Webster sank a short jumper from the corner to extend the Yellow Jackets' lead to 12, where it would stay to give the Detroit Country Day Yellow Jackets the 1995 Class B Girls Basketball State Championship. In the Class A final, it was a real battle as the Flint Northern Vikings faced the Vikings of Walled Lake Central. Early in the first, Flint's Tawana McDonald got the ball down low, spun, and laid it in to give Flint Northern a 6-point lead. Late in the first quarter, Becky Cummings canned the layup from underneath to cut the Flint lead to 9. Near the end of the half, Walled Lake's Christina Harmon sank a triple to tie the score. Early in the second half, Flint Northern extended their lead to 7 off a steal and score by Deanna Nolan. Nolan would end the day with 6 steals, tying a state championship record. Late in the fourth, Becky Cummings made another big move underneath and scored to cut into the Flint lead. But it was not enough, as the Vikings of Flint Northern went on to take the 1995 Class A Girls Basketball State Championship.
Certainly a lot of excitement back at the Kellogg Arena, and if you haven't had a chance to take that action, and we suggest you do that this coming December. You also saw Country Day win the Class B crown in there in the girls. Well, the boys of Country Day later on tonight will take on East Grand Rapids and try to repeat in the boys' side of the action. East Grand Rapids and Country Day coming up later tonight right here on Pass, right here at 7:30 p.m. Stay with us. One of your network sponsors is Farm Bureau Insurance. In a very exciting first half, three-point shots flying everywhere. Rick Berkey along with guest analyst Bill Brandell. Bill, I cannot believe the way these clubs are shooting triples.
Well, you don't expect them to be that accurate in a state final. Usually you're a little bit tight and your shooting touch just a little bit off. But boy, not so in this game so far. We've had 13 threes already, Rick. 8 by Tri-unity and 5 on the other side for the Lakers.
And the state record for a championship game in any class is 14. They're 1 away from it. So keep it right here. Back with the second half. You're watching the MHSAA on Pass.
Tim Stout with Greg Kelser at the Breslin Center. Our halftime score, 38-26. There's the horn. Teams coming back on the floor to begin third quarter play. Gregory, you look at the statistics here. The shooting, not that great for Maple City, but Tri-Unity certainly has held its own.
Big stat there, the rebounds. Look what Tri-Unity is doing on the glass to Maple City Glen Lake, out rebounding them by 10.
And we'll take a look at some other statistics here quickly. The scoring, Mazurek, as you may expect, is their leading scorer for Maple City Glen Lake. 33 in the semis, 11 in the first half. And Foltice, it's been a spectacular game for him.
Right there. The 13 points, that's nice, but the 6 assists tells you that he is setting things up for his teammates. He's having a very balanced basketball game right now.
Well, that means he's had a hand in the 25 of his team's 38 points. And Bryan Foltice, the little 9th grader, I don't know if I can call him little anymore, the way he has played so far. Here he is for another 3. He said, man, I want to see if I'm still hot.
Well, I'll tell you what, he will do damage if they continue to let him just walk to the three-point line, toe it, and shoot it uncontested.
The three-point shot has been a part of the high school game since 87-88. I'll complete the thought here in a moment. They give that to Derek Poplinski, 42, who's in the game here, cuts it to 38-28. Since 87-88, that was the first year the three-point field goal was brought into the high school game. And the record for a championship game three-point field goals is 14. We have 13 at the half, so that record is in jeopardy, as you might expect.
You'll notice at times the players for Glen Lake, they come down defensively and they slam the floor with both hands. That's like recommitting themselves to defense. Now, they did it this time down, but so far they haven't kept that promise. Every time they do it, they get scored on, Tim.
Well, John Lanser, who had his team's first 10 points, now has 14. That makes it a 12-point game, 40-28. Mazurek shot is away, and Bryan Foltice rebounds, too, and passes it ahead. Tri-Unity comes up with a loose ball. Here's Foltice for another 3. And Mazurek with a rebound. Down the other end. Basket is good. Does it count? It does. And a foul is called. So Robb Semple will go to the line. He has 6 points. It's a 10-point game again. Nice drive here.
Well, you see, Foltice trying to get over and take that charge. And Semple's a pretty big guy, so you know you're going to get some punishment, and he gets double punishment because he gets knocked down and then he falls on him.
And if you wondered whether Foltice is tough enough, he took a charge there from a guy almost twice his size, it would seem. Semple completes the three-point play. Now it's 40-31. So a 9-point game. Largest lead has been 15 in this game for Tri-Unity Christian.
Glen Lake, they just hit the floor again. They've just recommitted themselves to defensive pressure for the 3rd or 4th time in this game. Let's see if it materializes. No,
nice.
They need to stop hitting the floor, Tim. It's not working.
John Lanser, 16 points for Lanser now. So he and Foltice have 29 of their team's 42 points. They've had a Mr. Inside and Outside in this game for the defenders from Wyoming Tri-unity Christian. Trying for their 25th win here today of the season. Mazurek's shot is way off, pulled down by Derek Burgess, and Tri-unity goes the other way. And Foltice is looking at probably 3 years as an all-state player.
Well, you know, this is a stage. This is an opportunity to show what you can do at the highest level of your class. And Foltice is not squandering his opportunity. He's showing up big time, and he's not the only one.
Senior Joshua Holmes gets that 3. That ties the championship game record for most three-point field goals by 2 teams. There's 14. Who's going to set the record? Here's Mazurek, a good hustle for the baseline, can't get it to go, and then the massive board strength and size helps. Robb Semple knocks it in, and it's 45-33, 9 for him. Robb Semple has had 5 points here in this third quarter, and Mark Keeler wants a timeout for the defenders of Wyoming Tri-unity Christian. 5 minutes, 1 second remaining here in the third quarter from the Breslin Center in Class D. It's Tri-unity Christian 45, Maple City Glen Lake 33. One of your sponsors today is Tombstone Pizza.
plays have no place in sports or society.
Blindfold, monsieur?
No.
Cigarette?
No.
What do you want on your tombstone?
Pepperoni and cheese.
Tombstone Pizza, Pierre!
Time for Tombstone Pizza, made with the good stuff. Real pepperoni, real cheese, so it's always real good. What do you want on your tombstone?
Napkin?
No.
Whether they live on the farm, in the country, the suburbs, or downtown, Farm Bureau Insurance serves them all. Life, home, retirement, auto, business.
We're making your future more predictable. Farm Bureau Insurance.
Farm Bureau Insurance.
Tim Stout with Greg Kelser here at the Breslin Center. Plenty of time remaining here in this Class D title game. Gregory, what do we got here?
Well, you see Mazurek taking a tough shot. He's really had to work hard for everything today. Hits the ground hard, but there's some interior rebounding going on. That's simple, getting it off the glass. He's going to have to step up too, as well as several other players. As I indicated, Mazurek is going to take a team effort to defeat Tri-unity Christian today.
Here's the drive in off the glass. Not the best shot maybe by Lanser that time. He was off balance. Glen Lake down the other way. The putback doesn't quite go. Semple's been active on the glass for Glen Lake, but it's out of bounds, and the defenders will get it back. Don Miller, I don't know, his hair was a little gray to start the day, and he's been shaking a little bit. Nice guy. He's been a big part of the community in northern Michigan for years and years. His 23rd year. 442 wins, 113 losses. That's about 80% in the win column for Don Miller as a coach. And his team is struggling here, trying to win its second state title. He led them to their first win in 1977, a 2-point win over Detroit East Catholic. You know what, Gary, they still have a relationship with East Catholic. They had those kids in the summer go up and visit, and they played and scrimmaged each other. So Detroit East Catholic and Maple City Glen Lake have kind of sister teams, if you want. 3-second call turnover, Glen Lake gets it back. And there's Mark Keeler. Head coach, 9th season at Wyoming Tri-unity Christian.
You know, except for a couple of spurts, Maple City Glen Lake has not been able to get into any type of offensive rhythm.
That three doesn't go by Jamie Mazurek, so it comes back the other way to Foltice, who leads the charge. He's got a man wide open who passes. Well, he won't pass this up. Foltice is standing wide open, and now he's 0 for 3 in the second half from three-point range, although he's just missed.
Well, remember, he got off to a slow start in the first half and then caught fire.
There's the new record for the championship game. 15 three-pointers in the game, and Derek Poplinski sets it for Maple City Glen Lake, and that cuts it to single digits now. The Lakers are hanging around here. They haven't played their best by any means, but they're still within single digits. And there's a foul, and that'll go against Jamie Mazurek. That's his second foul of the day. 3:18 to play here in the third quarter. Was mentioning, Gregory, that Glen Lake, they had the East Catholic kids up this summer. They scrimmaged, played together, stayed in each other's homes, so they're well aware. They thought they might be playing East Catholic at this point in the tournament. And Wyoming Tri-unity Christian came out of a pack of Class D schools for a big year at 24-3, going for a title today. Here's another three fired outside. That one doesn't go by Lanser, but it's another chance for him. He's fouled, and he'll go to the line.
What a pass. Now that's seeing the floor. Most guys that get offensive rebounds feel as though it's an invitation to just take a tough shot, putting it back up because you work for the rebound. But that time, Chamberlain got his offensive rebound, looked at the cutters off the ball, stayed patient, and got a nice bounce pass in there to Lanser, who's going to get a couple of free throws. That's unselfishness, and that's what it takes to win basketball games.
Tim Zolman goes out. That was his fourth personal foul. So here's a good look on the line here at John Lanser, the 6'3 senior, is having a big game today. He has 16 points.
You know, he got this team started hitting the first 10 points, Lanser. And I think to a large degree, that took pressure off the other guys. They just were able to cruise into a flow And then when they started shooting the basketball, they too were able to do it with confidence, but it was Lanser who got it started.
Well, that free throw will count because of a lane violation, and so it goes the other way. And Maple City Glen Lake now with a break there. They didn't lose any more points there with a clock stop. 45-36, Tri-Unity Christian. They're looking inside to their superior height to get it to the guy they want, but the shot is away. And then it's out of bounds, and it goes back, I believe, to the defenders of Wyoming Tri-Unity Christian, who have set a record this year for most wins in one season for their school easily. They're 24-3 coming in today. And you can see a substitution here for Tri-Unity Christian. Kyle Moss comes back in the game, a junior, number 22. He gives them some size at 6'5" to help combat all that size that Glen Lake has underneath the basket. Bryan Foltice, number 11, running the show here. He has not scored in the second half. He had 13 in the first half.
Look at him floor directing. He's telling people where to go. He's telling the seniors and juniors where to go.
And there's Bryan Foltice, who set it up and then scores his first two in the second half. 15 for Foltice. That equals what he scored in the semifinals to lead his team over Detour.
Oh, tough shot.
Nope.
Tough shot.
On the putback, no, and there's Kyle Moss. They brought him in to rebound, and he gets a big one there at the defensive end. Foltice looking in, little shot off the side, bounds around, and it's pulled down by Mazurek for Glen Lake, who leads the break the other way. Shot wide open for the two by Derek Poplinski is good. He's having a big third quarter. 7 points, all 7 for Poplinski in the third quarter. Cuts it again to single digits, the deficit.
Well, the thing he did there, he caught the basketball, was a little bit out of control, but then righted himself quickly, got a chance to face up and shoot his jump shot, and that helps pull it back to within 9 points.
Free throw line jumper tipped up, no, and it's pulled down well by Robb Semple. Here's the break. Poplinski's going to go in off the glass. And the putback is up and in by Greg Aylesworth, who finally gets a basket. That's 4 for him today, and it's a 7-point game. And I'm not sure Glen Lake may be wearing down Tri-Unity Christian just a bit. And the crowd for both these teams now gets into it because it's a much closer game than it has been for some time.
Well, Mark Keeler feeling he needs fresher bodies on the floor. He's got 4 people ready to substitute at the horn.
Foltice looking inside, pass is turned away. Now Glen Lake with a chance to cut it more. Need a good shot here and not one that's rushed. Here's Poplinski from outside. That one clangs off, and Foltice pulls down a rebound, and they needed it. Inside a minute to play here in the third quarter, as you see. Here's Moss in the game. That shot is altered, blocked away, and Glen Lake pulls it back. Jamie Mazurek is active, if nothing else here. And it's tipped out of bounds to Glen Lake, and the Lakers here probably will have the last shot. That's what Don Miller wants. We get 4 new Tri-Unity Christian players into the game, so this will be like an extended timeout now for the defenders because they'll be out here for the rest of the quarter. Basket here, Gregory, would make this a wild fourth quarter.
Well, you know, basket here, or just make sure your deficit is only 7 points if you're Maple City Glen Lake.
Inside, that's the guy they want back.
It's a weird shot. You notice that he kind of gets up in the air, tucks his legs, and then slingshots the basketball.
I'm amazed that wasn't considered a shot that went out of bounds off the bracket. They have it back. Here's the Shannon. They think they don't know the clock. They don't know the clock situation, and now they do. That's the end of the third quarter, and we got a wild 8 minutes of this Class D state championship game coming up. Hope you're enjoying it this morning wherever you are around Michigan. It's Tri-Unity Christian of Wyoming 47, Maple City Glen Lake 40. You're watching the MHSAA today on Pass.
Often in basketball, Tri-Unity has controlled the tempo for most of the game and had the upper hand, but Glen Lake kept hanging around, and they're still in it with a quarter to play.
Well, obviously they're still in it, Rick, and as you said, they just seem to have that ability not to quite die out there, and now back within 7 points in this final game here going into the fourth quarter.
And we're in just the first of 4 championship games here on Pass, and we've already seen a state championship record, Bill. Joe?
Well, we've seen some great shooting, and the record is 3-point goals. We now have 15 in this contest, with Derek Poplinski from Glen Lake making the actual record breaker from out at the top of the arc.
A most entertaining contest so far, and here to bring you the final quarter of action, Tim and Greg.
Just think, Gregory, 41 three-point field goal attempts in this game. I mean, they've made 15, but there's been 41 of them attempted in the first 3 quarters.
That lets you know it's been wide open.
Inside, that one finally falls down for Greg Aylesworth, 6 for him, and this is the closest that Maple City Glen Lake has been in a long time today. In fact, Glen Lake has dominated this game, frankly, since the beginning of the second quarter. It was the first quarter that killed them. They lost out 22-7 the first 8 minutes of the game. So whistle, and is it a foul or a turnover? Well, I just said they're going to give the ball back here to Tri-Unity Christian. Right in front of the Tri-Unity Christian bench where Mark Keeler shouts instructions. Defenders have got to have somebody step up here on offense.
And right now, you don't have Foltice on the floor, but you will in a moment.
You will, they heard you. And they're going to see him right now. But that's on a turnover, and with a 5-point deficit, Maple City Glen Lake. You know, Gregory, it seems to me the Lakers have got back in it when they've patiently run their offense and then crashed the boards if they missed, as opposed to being off balance and out of whack when they shoot.
Well, that's the thing, and they've been off balance so much, but, you know, at least now, if they can get it inside, as they did a moment ago, Mazurek catching it outside. Now, he's going to extend the defense because you got to go out there and guard him. He should be able to dump it down low, and they can get some high percentage interior shots.
Oh, that's Corey Flasco, little 10th grader. He just banged in another 3, and now it's a 2-point game. Here goes another 3, and that one's off, and Corey Flasco pulls down a rebound. A little sophomore from Glen Lake fires up a rainbow 3-pointer.
You know, the thing that Tri-Unity Christian went away from is working the ball around, making Maple City Glen Lake have to play defense, move their feet defensively. They're taking those early shots, and that's really playing right into the hands of Maple City Glen Lake.
Well, if you didn't think there was room for the little man of basketball, Corey Flasco will prove you wrong there, because he's in there banging around. He can't weigh a whole lot, but he made a big 3, and he's scrapping for the rebounds there, and his team will get it back. Glen Lake is right back in this game. This is going to be one right down there to the end. Don Miller's team has rallied from the 22-7 first quarter deficit with a chance here to take the lead right here.
Give it to him. They dared. That's number 52, Aylesworth. They dared him to shoot the basketball. I mean, they backed off and said, there it is. You want it? He said, gladly, I'll take it.
Aylesworth with a 3. That's 9 points for him. The first lead of the game for Maple City Glen Lake. 48-47, 3-on-1. Down the floor. And a foul is called before the basket. But Glen Lake is obviously a revived team.
They are, and as a result, you got Tri-Unity reeling. They're on the ropes. They're shaking, and they've got to regain their composure.
Bryan Foltice has his 3rd foul. The defenders only have 7 points in this second half. You can see a worried defenders bench here. Their team had this one in control all day long here. And their first lead, I guess they gave a 2-0 lead early on, but their first lead of significance in the game here at the end. Ball loose out of bounds. The defenders will have a chance to regain that lead with 5:38 to play. I think this crowd's going to be into this now the rest of the way.
Hey, they're into it. I mean, it looked like oh, look at this. See, they've really fallen asleep. They've come unglued. They looked like they were on cruise control. Now they've got to regroup and start playing if they expect to win this state championship. I commend Glen Lake the way they've come back.
Off balance, but inside Chamberlain is double team. Whistle, travel is called, and Maple City Glen Lake will get it back. I mean, what worked in the first quarter for Tri-Unity Christian has been absent the last 2 quarters.
Well, you know what happens. You get a big lead, and then the team comes back. You start second-guessing yourself. You start thinking out there as opposed to letting the instincts take over. And right now, a lot of nervousness on the part of Tri-Unity.
That ball is turned back over, and Tri-Unity will get it back. But you remember, Greg, the semifinals, Holy Redeemer had Glen Lake down big in the first half, and they rallied and won. In the semis now, Tri-Unity had a 15-point lead over this club, and that lead is long gone.
I think it shows you just can't relax at any point.
three up and in at the time by John Ejima, a 6'2 junior into the game. The threes are flying in this one, and it's a 2-point game. And the play is rough. There's a foul against Tri-Unity Christian's Joshua Holmes. That's a common foul. So Joshua Holmes has his first foul. 50-48 is our score. Tri-Unity Christian with 4:51 to play in the game here. Now Maple City Glen Lake, which had that lead briefly.
Patience is important at this stage of the game, and you cannot afford the turnovers.
Tri-Unity Christian now with a 2-point lead in the basketball. They managed that three back there by John Lanser on the last possession was huge. Gets him back, Foltice for two, and knocks it down. Bryan Foltice. 17 for him, and it's a 4-point lead for the defenders. And Maple City Glen Lake doesn't want to let this one get out of hand. They got the lead, and now they've given up 5 in a row, and it's 52-48, 4:15 to play. Tri-Unity Christian is on top. We'll be back in a moment. One of your sponsors today is Farm Bureau Insurance. Tim Stout with Greg Kelser. Hang on here for the last 4:15 of this Class D final. Gregory, this is going to be a wild finish.
Oh, it is. And, you know, I marvel at the way these players can step up and hit these high-pressure shots. I mean, there's Foltice, the youngest guy on the floor, knocking down that big deuce to give his team the 4-point lead. Now, let's see the rebuttal that Maple City Glen Lake can provide.
Well, without a shot clock, possessions are key here the rest of the way. Here's the big three from outside that just falls away that time from Corey Flaska. And once again, Tri-Unity Christian with a chance to pad its lead, and a whistle and a foul is called. That one's on Jamie Mazurek, his third, who might be just a little out of control here now in a frantic attempt to get the ball back defensively.
But there's no need to panic. I mean, there's plenty of time in this game. You're only looking at a 4-point deficit.
Out of the game now goes Corey Flaska. Did a good job in there while he was in there. He ran the show and made a bucket.
Yeah, he keyed the comeback. He's a big part of it.
He got him the lead at 48-47, but since then, Tri-Unity's on a 5-point run. 52-48. The inbounds is loose. And now we'll see what Bryan Foltice, who has 17 points, wants to do. Foltice 17, Lanser 19. That's 36 of the 52 for these two players, a freshman and a senior for the defenders. And I'll call a travel immediately on Jamie Mazurek, who thought he had a steal. He plays with a lot of intensity. There's no question about that.
Well, he doesn't mind going on the floor. Look at this.
Well, he's an end on the football team, so he's used to being on the ground in athletic competition, and a good end, too. The team made it to the semifinals of the state playoffs last fall, and when he was a junior, they won the championship. So football's a big part of his game in both seasons. And as I say, with no shot clock, there's an opportunity here to run the clock a little bit for Tri-Unity Christian. Foltice around his man, dumps it off, but Chamberlain nearly lost it. And then John Lanser picked it up. This is where you need a good ball handler with poise. They look for the inside shot. And there it is.
Nice extra pass.
Derek Burgess was the recipient of that good offense. And Tri-Unity Christian on a 7-0 run. Give them a lot of credit. They had poise there when they got behind. They've scored 7 unanswered points to regain the lead. Inside, hard off the glass. Wes Mazurek is a tough player, but he couldn't get it to fall down there.
You know what? He makes contact on every shot. And what's happening today, unlike the other day, he's not getting the calls. He is not going to the free throw line. So therefore, when he makes that contact, it throws his own coordination and balance off, and he's not connecting.
There's a lot of contact in this game. Incidental. I mean, there is a lot of contact. That wasn't orchestrated to match the comment at that time. It just happened, and then it's loose, turned over. And Glen Lake is in a little bit of a panic mode right here. I think Foltice is trying to count all his extremities to make sure everything is still with him.
I wouldn't be surprised to see them really try to take some time off this clock now. With a 6-point lead and a dependable ball handler like Foltice, you can almost afford to try and milk the game right on down and make them foul.
Well, they're in the driver's seat with this. I mean, there's no need for them to take anything more than a layup, and at some point, Glen Lake's going to have to start putting them on a line here with some time left. It's a 2-possession game. Foltice says, nope, I'm going for it. That's 19 for him, and now Glen Lake wants a timeout. A 9-0 run for the defenders of Wyoming Tri-unity Christian. They don't get the timeout. And on the putback, it goes up and in. Boy, they needed that one. Eric Everson, that's 8 for him. And Glen Lake calls time. A 6-point game with a minute 20 to go. Today is prep day in Michigan here on Pass. 6 championships on deck for your pleasure today. 3 more state title games. We got the finals in 2 classes in the Lower Peninsula Girls Volleyball Tournament for you. The Class C basketball championship game follows this. At 2:30, it's volleyball action in C with Hanover Horton facing Montague. At 4, you get the Class A basketball final, and then in Class B, the Lower Peninsula Girls Volleyball title between Comstock and Charlotte. We'll finish up a long, good day of high school sports at 7:30 tonight, the Class B title game. It's all exclusively here on Pass. Gregory?
Well, very fortunate on this particular play is Maple City Glen Lake, because they wanted a timeout before they crossed half court, but the players did not see that, so they took that ill-advised long shot, but stayed true on the offensive glass and got a second opportunity. But I want to make one more comment. This little Bryan Foltice is a basketball player.
Yep.
And I will be surprised if in the Class C, A, and B games later on today, if there will be a better point guard on any of those teams than this young man in terms of floor guidance and leadership and knowledge. And he's only going to get better.
Bryan Foltice at 5'11". They're the Glen Lake Lakers. Let us tell you, this telecast is a copyrighted production of the Michigan High School Athletic Association and Pass Sports. No reproduction of the pictures or accounts of this game may take place without the express written consent of the MHSAA and Pass Sports. Tim Stout, Greg Kelser, 1:20 to play in the D Championship game. Tri-unity Christian with a ball and a 6-point lead. And we're down to 76 seconds to go. Bryan Foltice with 3 fouls. Running the show, he is right at his game. He's had an awesome game today. Only a freshman. What a run he has had in 2 games here in the Breslin Center as a 9th grader.
This is exactly what I would do with no shot clock. I spread my floor and make sure my good free throw shooters handle the basketball.
And they have to foul, and now they do, and that stops the clock, and that's Robb Semple's 2nd foul. And we'll see what kind of free throw shooters that Tri-unity Christian has.
His second. 4th team foul.
But that's only the 4th team foul, so they got some fouls to catch up on here. And frankly, Glen Lake let too much time go off the clock. I mean, this is just keep away till they get them to the 1-and-1.
Hey, I'd foul right away. What are they waiting for?
And there's the foul that goes against Mazurek, and that's his 4th foul now, so he's all done fouling people. That's 5.
At this point, if you're Maple City, Glen Lake,
you got to get 2 quickies.
Time preservation is of the utmost importance. You cannot allow them to throw it in and dribble it around. You got to foul now.
Well, he didn't get it. I'm not quite sure why, but now there is a foul. That's the 6th one. Let's see who they go. They got to be careful. Mazurek doesn't foul out. They're looking at him like, that's who they're going to call it on. His teammate wants to take it.
Poplinski wants
to take it, but Mazurek, he just lost his concentration a little bit here.
He could not afford to make this foul. He needed to talk to his teammates and say, hey, you guys, you got to foul for me now. I have reached the quota. Now if they're going to come back, they're going to have to do it without their best player.
(56-50) with 42 seconds to play in the game here now. Wyoming Tri-unity Christian is finally going to get on the line now here, and John Lanser is the guy they're going to put on the line. He's an 82% free throw shooter. Okay, so I mean,
that's probably why he's out handling the basketball. You get it in the hands of those 80+ free throw shooters or high 70s.
20 points for John Lanser today for Tri-unity Christian. And a whistle and a foul inside, and that one will go against Tri-Unity Christian and stops the clock, more importantly. So with 41 seconds to go, it is not over. It's a two-possession game. You know how the three-pointers have been raining in this one. 2 threes ties it up. Tri-Unity's going to... Joshua Holmes got the foul, his second. Now... Corey Flask at 12 has got it. He's made a three. He's looking for some room here. They got to get outside the arc to fire it. That one's way, way off balance.
See, they didn't have to take this. They're lucky. Don't have to take the tough shot. You can move that thing around, maybe get some penetration and a kick out and have someone ready to shoot it, but shoot it comfortably. And then, once the ball is out of bounds, you foul again immediately. Got to set a screen over there.
On the perimeter, there's the three. That one doesn't go, and it's pulled down by John Lanser, and he's fouled.
He's tackled.
He was tackled. Well, a number of the Glen Lake players played on the football team. In fact, Greg Aylesworth was the quarterback, okay? And a very good one as well. That's his first personal foul, so the fans of Tri-Unity Christian are smelling their first state championship. Don Miller imploring his team here with some advice in the final seconds of this one. And once again on the line is John Lanser.
He needs to make one to make it a three-possession game. And then his team really has the upper hand. Right now, you know, 2 possessions, that's 2 3-pointers, and you're looking at a tie score. So Lanser's thinking, hey, make one.
Well, there are 5 seniors on the Defenders roster who will close out their careers here today. And for all these 10 kids, and I think they got all 15 dressed over there, the rest of them are all freshmen and sophomores and juniors, and they get a chance to add another one of these state titles if that's the way it's going to end here in the next 3 years. Lanser with 22 points for him, and now it's, as Gregory said, a 3-possession game. 3 outside, firing. That one's not there, and a whistle, and I think that one's going against Glen. No, they're going to whistle that one down against Tri-Unity. So the clock stops, but with 17 seconds to go, this one may have just about slipped away. We want to tell you to be sure and stay tuned right after the final buzzer, because we'll have all of the award ceremonies. We'll talk with the winners, and it's quite a celebration and quite a presentation they have after each of these 4 games today, awarding the trophies to the runners-up and the winners. And that one's off the glass and down for 3 by Eric Everson. He has 3 3-pointers today for 11 points, and it's a 5-point game with 10 seconds to go.
Yeah, but this one's in the bag unless something crazy happens, like a turnover right underneath the basket. But Tri-Unity, give them credit. They started early. They were the first team to get composure, and they really have to give Lanser a lot of credit for that. He was not nervous at all to start this game, scoring the first 10 points. They've got a big lead. Were able to handle the comeback effort of Glen Lake, resettle themselves, and then take charge at the end of this basketball game when Bryan Foltice really surfaced.
Videotapes of the championship games of this boys basketball final tournament are available on videotape for purchase through Advanced Video Service. Each game is available in VHS format at a cost of $24. That includes all taxes and handling charges. And when ordering, be sure to indicate the sport and class of the game desired. The orders may be directed to Advanced Video Service, 5547 Columbiaville Road, Columbiaville, Michigan, at 48421. Checks should be made payable to Advanced Video Service and allow 2 to 4 weeks for delivery. Well, it's been an exciting game here. And for those of you who enjoyed watching Wyoming Tri-unity Christian of Maple City Glen Lake, maybe one of those videotapes is a lasting memory for you. We're down to 10 seconds to play. Don't forget, we've got the awards presentation coming up, the runners-up, the championship trophies, and then the Class C title game coming up right after this one. Gregory and I've got the A final this afternoon at 4 o'clock. That'll be a run and shoot just like this one has been, with a couple of new teams we haven't seen in Southfield, Lathrop, and Saginaw going at it. There you're perhaps the Class D state champions to be here in 10 more seconds of clock time. The defenders of Wyoming Tri-unity Christian, who are looking for their 18th consecutive victory, their 25th win of the season against 3 losses. They lost to Muskegon Catholic Central by 5, Grand Rapids West Catholic by 14, and West Michigan Christian by 9. They were 7-3 after 10 games, and they've just rolled it home ever since then. Here's Joshua Holmes on the line. this, if he makes this, absolutely, that would make it 3 possessions, and in 10 seconds, Greg, you do the math of the time left, and you just don't see how it can turn out any other way. 6-point game. They're going to have to fire this one in a hurry, and there it goes.
Wow, that
was close. And that's just about going to do it. We have a new Class D state high school basketball champion, the defenders of Wyoming Tri-unity Christian. They fell behind at 48-47 with a couple of minutes to go and rallied to win it here today. This is the MHSAA on Pass. Wyoming Tri-unity Christian is your Class D state titleist for 1996, holding off Maple City Glen Lake 59-53. And now for the awards ceremony and trophy presentation, here's the public address announcer here at the Breslin Center, Eric O. Forseth.
Ladies and gentlemen, before the presentation of the championship trophy and medals, let's acknowledge these 2 fine teams for their achievements this year and their play here today. At this time, we direct your attention to center court, where John Duncan, principal, Cedarville High School, member of the Michigan High School Athletic Association Representative Council, will make the awards presentations. First, let us honor the runner-up in Class D, the Lakers of Maple City Glen Lake. Number 10, Ned Macadino. Number 12, Corey Fleska. Number 20, Chris Garvin. 22, Curtis Sandbite. 30, John Bixby. 32, Noel Payton. 34, Chris Walker. 50, Ben Lacrosse. 52, Greg Aylesworth. 24, Eric Everson. 40, Tim Zolman. 42, Derek Peplinski. 44, Jamie Mazurek. And 54, Robb Semple. Congratulations to Maple City Glen Lake, the Lakers, on an outstanding season. And now, for the 1996 Michigan High School Athletic Association runner-up trophy to Don Miller, head coach of the Lakers. And now for the 1996 Michigan High School Athletic Association Class D champions, the defenders of Wyoming Tri-unity Christian. Number 12, Matt Dykstra. (14) Eli Berkman. (15) Zachary Bosenbrook. (20) Nathan Kromendijk. (21) Mark Ten Elzoff. (22) Kyle Moss. (23) John Ajama. (32) Andy Straub. (33) Brandon Blanker. (41) Trevor Vanderhorst. Number 11, Bryan Foltice. (24) John Lanser. (25) Derek Burgess. (30) Joshua Holmes. And 34, Ben Chamberlain. And accepting the championship trophy, Coach Mark Keeler. Wyoming Tri-unity Christian, the 1996 Class D boys basketball champions.
You see the defenders claiming the championship and said that the third time's the charm. Not so for Tri-unity from Wyoming. Their very first trip to the state championships turns out to be a successful one. They win the Class D crown. Stay with us. We'll be right back to hear from the winning coach and some players. One of your network sponsors is Tombstone Pizza. Our first state champion is crowned in Class D. UC Tri-unity from Wyoming defeats Glen Lake from Maple City. This is just part of the Class DC doubleheader. We've still got the Class C championship final to come up in just a few moments, so don't you go anywhere right here on Pass. Detroit St. Martin de Porres will take on Manton for that Class C championship. Right now, we're going to send it down to the floor as Tim Stout and Greg Kelser have some very happy defenders to talk to.
Well, you're right, Rick. This is the head coach in his 9th year, Mark Keeler. Coach, is this what getting into high school coaching is all about?
That's a good definition of it right here.
Your team had a great lead in the first quarter at 22-7, and then they just kind of got settled down, pecked away, got the lead at 48-47. Then what happened?
Well, we knew that it was an emotional game. We knew there was going to be some ups and downs. Glen Lake is too good of a team. We knew they'd come back into it. The important thing was to weather their ups and our downs and to gain the momentum back.
Okay, stay here. Gregory, you got two of the heroes here with us. Go ahead and visit with them, and then I'll take it back here.
Thanks a lot, Tim. First, I want to talk with Bryan Foltice. Now, you started the year on the JV team. Now here you stand as the quarterback of the Class D state champion. Tell me what that means to you.
Oh, this means a lot. It's, there's a lot of pressure, but you just want to come out and have fun, play some good basketball, and that's what we're here for.
John, I thought your play early on really helped this team settle down. You scored your team's first 10 points. Everybody kind of got in tow and seemingly felt a little more comfortable and a little more confident after that. What were your thoughts going into this game, and what contributed to your great start?
I just wanted to go out and play my hardest because I knew it was going to be my last game here. And I'm just glad we came out on top, and I'm glad to be a part of it.
Bryan, I understand that you didn't want to be in awe or intimidated by this situation, so you refused to look at the Breslin Center from the outside coming in. You going to turn around and take a look at this building on your way out?
I didn't do it again today either. And someone had to lead me down the tunnel again, so there's a lot of people here, and I was a little nervous in the beginning, but we had to settle down, and our team played a good first quarter.
All right, Tim.
Okay, Coach, what did you know through the tournament that this club might win the state title?
Well, we set it as a goal after one districts. We felt like we were a really good team. We were a little disappointed last year. We had an excellent team as well. We thought we had a chance. Obviously, 200 schools each year set that as a goal. But we were excited about our year, and as the year built, we knew we had an excellent team and a good possibility of being here.
Well, Coach, congratulations to you. The Class D state champions. Go celebrate.
Thank you very much.
Okay, very good. All right, that's the story here from the floor here at the Breslin Center. The 1996 Class D state champions. Rick Berkey, as you can tell, they're a little bit worn out and exhausted and happy. I imagine they're going to have a happy day the rest of the day.
And back up here, thank you very much. Some very happy and justifiably so defenders as they'll celebrate and take home very proudly the Class D crown back to Wyoming in a suburb of Grand Rapids. But don't forget, we've still got plenty of action to come. Stay with us. The C Championship game is on deck, and you are watching the MHSAA on Pass.
The MHSAA on Pass is presented by Farm Bureau Insurance, proud sponsor of the MHSAA Scholar Athlete Award. By True Value Hardware, promoting good sportsmanship through the Good Sports Are Winners program. And by Tombstone Pizza.
You see that Tri-Unity has won the Class D championship game, the first of 4 here on Pass. We hope you're enjoying the action and hope you stay right here all day long. The Class C matchup is a few moments away. Detroit St. Martin, DePorres, and Manton, joined right now by guest analyst Bill Brandell again. And Bill, an exciting Class D title tilt. The first thing we have to talk about is, as a former coach, you hear the coaches now and past coaches talking about the influence of the three-point shot in high school basketball. Never was it more evident, I think, than this game. 10 apiece threes by each team. New state record. Both teams broke the individual team record of 9, and both shattered the total team with 14, Bill.
Well, it was a great shooting exhibition, Rick, you're right, and it's an indication of what the game is coming to, and Greg Kelser had that description during the game, saying that you're never out of a game, and you also can never just say, oh, the game is over. The three-point shot is there for anybody and everybody, and this game is a classic example of a number of points. In fact, more than half of the points being scored by way of the three-pointer.
We got to look at the final numbers there. We see 45% for Tri-Unity from the floor. That jumps right out at you. We look at the scoring leaders, and we see Mazurek with his 11 points and 7 rebounds. And certainly, we didn't keep track, but he had to lead the game in floor burns out there as he's on the floor. And then we see John Lanser and Bryan Foltice leading the way with Tri-Unity.
Well, one of my stats that I kept up top here, just for some fun, Rick, was how many times did Mazurek end up on the floor? And I had 11 before I quit keeping track there, and we were trying to really zero in on those three-point shots.
The key quarter there, I think we saw the quarter breakdown, was the 22-7 start by Tri-Unity. And I think Greg Kelser made an excellent point in talking to John Lanser. We got caught up in the threes and all the excitement. We might have overlooked the significance when Lanser scored scored the first 10 points for Tri-unity.
Oh, that was a key, as Tri-unity came right out of the blocks and had a great deal of composure with the leadership of the young freshman, and then the 10 points by John Lanser. Everybody else seemed to gain confidence from his ability to hit the shots and get those points up on the board early. They just kind of settled right down, got into their rhythm, and they were off to the races.
As I've said before, this is the first time ever in the finals for Tri-unity, so it's understandable if they forgot a few things when they came to the Breslin this weekend. And one thing I really believe they forgot was they forgot to tell Bryan Foltice that he's only a freshman.
Well, it's unbelievable, the leadership that he showed out there. We have seen some great athletes at the point guard for teams, but I'm not sure we've ever seen a freshman with that kind of composure and that kind of floor leadership come out here in a state championship game and put on the display that Bryan Foltice did.
You, like our viewers across the upper and lower peninsula, probably had that strike right at them when we finally got a close-up of Bryan Foltice in the postgame interview to realize how young this young man really is.
Well, and think about his opportunity to come back here 3 times yet.
Okay, we'll take a break and we'll come back with more. Tri-unity has won the Class D crown, and one of your network sponsors is Farm Bureau Insurance.